Alex Kurtzman's unemployed little bitch says, "Will they announce a slate soon?" No, I don't think that.
No.
I don't think they're gonna go to the extent that Marvel did with this whole like we're announcing this phase and blah 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 blah. No, they'll. I think they're gonna go project by project. I could be wrong, but I know in December they're supposed to be doing some announcements. I think then we'll hear about a few films, but I don't think they'll give us like a whole 3-4 years worth of movies like
I
Marvel
think it'll be
does.
very ambiguous. They'll have
Yeah,
some specifics, but it'll be mostly ambiguous because I don't listen. If Zaslav's the type of guy that I'm familiar with him in regards to what he did on cable, he's gonna wait and it's gonna bug him to do so, but he's gonna wait until the last of the Hamada films that were greenlit hit the market and take all that data to say this is the direction we need to go.
I agree.
Well, we know they already know some things though. Like we are getting Constantine Part 2.
Yep.
We are definitely getting Superman, but beyond that, yeah, that
Joker
could be
too.
because now they're also going to want to let Gunn chime in.
Yeah.
Well, Gunn is immediately going to be tasked with dealing with Flash and Aquaman.
Well, I
Most
think
likely.
those are things that he might be, but I think
Oh,
those are
for
kind
sure.
of already under. They're already under Zaslav's.
Yeah, but Zaslav wants to stop answering questions about them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Here. So this is the way he stops being asked questions.
That's a good point. That's
Here,
a good point.
This is yours. This is your responsibility, and your main job is I don't want the press asking me about these two properties anymore. Thank you.
I wonder if James Gunn would get an email or text from David Zaslav like I get from some producers where it's just an attached PDF and it's the two words "fix it" with an exclamation point.
Well, James Gunn is the kind of guy you could probably do that to. But yeah, no, I think Andre's right. I think Script's right. I think everybody's right. It's going to be a pretty ambiguous slate they give us. What I think they'll more so announce is that this is going to be a reset. They'll kind of give us the idea that once we get past, I mean, I don't know how they'll exactly word it, but they'll at least allude to the idea that once we get past this point, we're going to be seeing a new DC universe kind of thing. They may use the Flash as kind of a way to say, that this is going to reset things and whatever.
If I was Gunn, I'd kill the universe and make them kind of standalone archy things, sort of like the way the comics are.
Well, there's the problem with that. And this is where Script and I have discussed this quite a bit behind the scenes and other places besides on stream. And we're not so sure what the hell their plan is going forward. Because Zaslav keeps saying he wants more connected. But yet the first two projects out the gate are Joker 2. And we've heard a lot about the Batman 2. And he has yet to decide on that. And those two are not connected to anything else. So, and the reason that we also heard that he brought in Alan Horn was that he wanted to set up DC like Marvel, and he wanted somebody to help with that. If that's the case, then that means he wants more cohesive storylines and all that kind of stuff. But he wants a hard reset, and then to be able to go from there. More of the reset for the tone overall. That's why they're keeping most of the same cast from what we've seen already and what we know.
Well, even the comic books share superheroes.
And they're going to do that.
But it does not have to be part of a universe.
Well, that's the thing is he wants a universe. That's just it. And that's the thing.
I think it's a mistake because I think you should be able to, like Joker, this second one's a musical. You shouldn't. I mean, it does two things. Number one, it doesn't trap you in any kind of long-term failure. And number two, if one idea doesn't work, the audience can kind of see that as a self-contained failure.
Yeah, it's easier to disassociate, which is very.
I agree with you guys
on the business side of things, but it then goes back to the other part, which is with the audiences. Audiences love looking for connectivity, whether it's there or not. They love the idea that you're going to have Paul Reiser appearing on Friends for for part of an episode, or Helen Hunt appearing on Friends from Mad About You, and you have that crossover, and people love that type of stuff, and they like the fact that Perfect Strangers, the elevator operator, is the mother in Family Matters. Like they love that type of stuff, and Marvel found a really good way to do that. I think what ended up hurting them is that they kind of homogenized Marvel as a brand, as opposed to having the subgenres be part of the characters and then using a well-balanced approach to it for like a crossover film. That's
look at the cameo at the end of Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're talking about? That was completely surprise. That was a complete surprise and enjoyable.
Yeah, and it worked.
Very well. I didn't know who the other two were. So they had one guy kind of flying in the air. Was that Superman?
They had a Superman stunt double. I think they had a Batman stunt double, and it was just Gal
no, there
Gadot.
was no Batman.
There was no Batman. Okay.
No, there was no Batman. The ones in the shade, it was
Cyborg?
It was a flying Superman who obviously was headless man because you didn't see his face. I believe there was the contours of Wonder Woman. There definitely was no Batman.
I'll have to look at it again.
There was definitely no Cyborg, and then obviously you had Momoa and you had Millard.
But you take a look at Spider-Man, the latest one, No Way Home.
Yeah.
You had the cameos of two previous Spider guys.
See, and that's another thing I heard that was taken into consideration, and that's something that's been part of the Flash, and I heard is still going to be part of the universe going forward, is that the Flash is supposed to make everything canon, right? That's kind of what Spider-Man No Way Home did.
Yes.
With the Marvel universe, is it made everything canon. It's just multiverses, right? So that's kind of what the Flash is supposed to be setting up, and that's where Michael Keaton gets involved, for instance. So I think they're still supposed to be keeping that as part of the plan. It's just that going forward, Zaslav wants a more cohesive vision. He wants to get rid of the divisiveness. He does not want this replacing the old original characters with these new inserts, because that's another thing is he came out recently again after all this, or I don't know when he said this, but it was something I sent Andre last night where he said flat out, Superman is a very personal thing for him. DC is a very personal thing for him. So he's clearly a fan. And that's stuff I've been hearing for a while, is that Superman is a big deal to him. He sounds like he's a big Superman fan. That is probably why Henry Cavill is back.
Definitely.
Because that was something I had said. You can rewind and go back and look at our earlier shows. I've been saying it for a while. They want Henry Cavill. Zaslav wants Henry Cavill. He's prepared to move forward without him if he has to. But that is the plan. They want him for the next 10 years. And that's the thing. He wants a 10-year plan. You know, that's what Marvel did. They had 10 years of films. What do we do? James was there. Alan Horn was there. I see what Zaslav is up to. I just hope he learns the right lessons from all this. And if he is really a fan like us, that he just wants to see decent films. And I think that's the case here. I do. I really do.
I don't see this shift away from decent films. But, you know, there's always been, as I've mentioned in a previous video, there's always been a whole section of Hollywood that hates nerds and geeks.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure he's going to be because SPN Dust says Cavill better be compensated handsomely after they screwed him over as Superman in the beginning. Oh, yeah, they did. And notice in the press, they're not making any. That's not a secret. Dwayne Johnson's out there basically saying it was a previous regime. Henry Cavill, I think, has alluded to it. We've been saying it forever.
I want to doubt our own horns, because for years, actually, we've been saying this, that the ones fighting to get Henry Cavill back is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and his agent and ex-wife, Dani Garcia, who is also Henry Cavill's agent, although not ex-wife. But anyway... but who knows what happens behind closed doors? We're not judging.
Right.
But anyway, they have been fighting to get Henry Cavill back. This is something they've been fighting for 6 years, and we have been reporting it for at least 3 of them.
Where we also stated those who are keeping him down and putting out these hit pieces on him about him being difficult to work with were people either in or close to, or are specifically Hamada, Sarnoff, or Toby Emmerich. And with Toby Emmerich being the head of the studio, there was no fucking way. No fucking way.
And they were the same ones that also got rid of Ben Affleck.
And that's another reason why I've been hearing he's more receptive. There's rumor going around. Mikey just put it out there. I checked into this. We already knew Ben Affleck was in discussion. So I'm not surprised if this 3-picture deal thing is probably.
I like Ben as
just to say that. Mikey Sutton, he is the one that has reported. So this is Mikey Sutton's scoop, and then time will tell if it's true. But according to Mikey Sutton, Ben Affleck last Thursday at 3:15 local time, Pacific time, signed a deal to make 3 Batman movies. Plus at least 1 more Batman cameo appearance not including the ones that already have been filmed.
Wow.
So that's at least 4 more appearances. And apparently, what is back on is the script that Ben Affleck was already developing, the one that was shut down and was transformed into the Matt Reeves Batman, the one with help me out here, Tom. Joel Manganiello's character.
Deathstroke.
Yeah, Deathstroke. That's back on. And not only that, that's going to set up a storyline that will take place over the course of 3 movies.
I thought you said Constantine was a J.J. Abrams property. And
not Constantine. This is completely unrelated.
No, but you mentioned Constantine earlier.
He was doing one. J.J. was, but his got shit canned.
Yeah, no, but he can take his iteration with him and shop it around to other places. But here's like the thing, because he owns that particular iteration of Constantine. He can't take Constantine proper with him. He can't do anything with the Keanu Reeves Constantine, but because of the deal he has been like awarded a producer in name-only role on the Constantine movie, which is happening. And that is definitely happening.
Okay. And that's another reason why I see this multiverse, like, everything counts kind of thing being true, because Constantine 2 was another one of the earlier ones that, and clearly I think Wonder Zaz was just a fucking fan of that.
Yeah, like, probably.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because that kind of came out of fucking nowhere. Like, there's no reason to make a Constantine 2 other than Keanu Reeves wants to do it. That's the only reason. Because other than that, the movie didn't really make all that much money. It has a bit of a cult following, but other than Keanu Reeves being hot as hell right now, as far as an actor goes, there's no other reason to make a Constantine 2.
There was no reason to make The Matrix 4.
Well,
no.
There was not.
That movie was made for a rights retainer. I keep telling people that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've said it again and again and again. Yep. Because Warner knew if they didn't make a fucking Matrix movie right now, they were going to lose the rights.
Hey,
that's why they told the Wachowskis. Yep. And that's why they told the Wachowskis, yeah, we're going to make it with or without you. So you want to be a part of it? Get in here.
They should have done it without them.
Yeah.
I agree. It would have been better off. But no, like at this point, I think Zaslav wants this to be successful, not just for the money side of things, but because he's a fan as well.
Yeah.
And
what I'm curious about with Constantine is if he's going to be plucked in from somewhere in the multiverse in The Flash, or if the Zaslavverse retroactively will make the 2005 movie part of its continuity.
I think you're probably the latter, I would assume.
That's what I'm thinking too.
That would make the most sense.
It would make the most sense.
Because the way it's looking now is the Michael Keaton thing is going to be a one-off. Is from what I'm kind of gathering. Like, unless there's a way they can find a finale, because that was Batman, or Batgirl was supposed to solidify Michael Keaton as the new Batman, remember?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is the Flash is ambiguous enough and open enough. And that's where we also heard that Cavill is supposedly going to be showing up in that too.
Ezra is ambiguous enough.
Well, that's the other thing. We've been hearing more rumors about that too, as far as them thinking about replacing him in the film.
Yeah, I heard that. That's it. I heard,
and I've been saying that for about 2 months.
He's gone as
actually longer than that.
That would be interesting to be completely reshooting that movie with another actor.
But I think, and I was talking about this with Script last night, and I think what I had heard from my sources and what we finally found out is true is that last week a lot of these things were decided, and that's why I don't disbelieve what Mikey is reporting that Thursday afternoon Ben Affleck signed on, as I think that's probably about the same time Henry Cavill did and James Gunn. I think all of them signed on at the same time. I think this was
that could very well be that all 3 of them were there together. All of them had shaken hands.
I'm not kidding. Because
I believe it.
This whole thing was set up that, from what I kept hearing, that Cavill was willing to come back, but he wanted to hear a pitch first. He signed off on the cameo for
Black Adam.
Black Adam, thank you. Yeah. And then he wanted to hear pitches. And so I'm sure that between whoever James Gunn had decided, whatever, he probably said, I don't want to do Superman, but I want to do this instead. I don't know where the meeting went, but we heard that he did pitch a secret DC project. Could have been Booster Gold for all we know with Chris Pratt. but I'm just joking there, but still, it could be serious. But at that point, I think you guys are right. I think a big meeting happened. They said, here's the plan. James, what would you like to do? Would you like to do this? I think Script and I kind of conceded that, yes, James has probably been thinking about this for a few months now. This is not something he made the decision overnight.
Yeah.
So he probably presented his idea. Everybody liked it, meaning everybody as in Zaslav, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill. I don't know if Gal Gadot would have to be involved at all or not, but regardless, the big players in this thing, let's say, once everybody signed off on it, that's when all this became as is. And I don't think they were necessarily planning on announcing all this shit at once. I think that Henry Cavill thing was meant to come out on Monday like it did, but I believe they were going to wait to announce James Gunn probably until December, unless there's something coming up here soon. I think that was just a retaliation real quick because James knew they were going to drop that trailer. You know, and I know, and everybody knows that James knew they were going to drop that trailer.
The Christmas trailer?
Absolutely.
Yes. I think that was orchestrated as a last minute. You know what? Fuck them.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. Sure, there might be pitches for a specific movie, but I think the actors now, after all this turbulence, just want stable leadership. And I think that's what they see in James Gunn and the other fellow,
Zaslav, and
Peter
I don't know
Peter
so much about like this other dude that came with them, other than that Gunn obviously knows him, but it's Gunn that's like obviously the draw here. He's the guy.
He's been in the industry for a while.
Him and Zaslav.
He actually worked with James Gunn way back when on The Specials, which is also a movie that Robert Meyer Burnett produced. So, I mean, he's been around for a long time. He's worked on the Conjuring movies. He's obviously, worked with James Wan and those guys in that capacity and stuff. But he's done nothing but produce. There is nothing else on his resume. And that's what Script Doctor and I noticed last night that we keyed in on, because that means he's not just because he's his manager, but even if that wasn't the case, he's not going to sit there and try and dictate to James what the creative direction should be.
I hope
that's clearly
not
what he does.
He's tight with the previous administration at DC as well, so I hope that creatively he'll stay far away from it and just do what he's supposed to do as a good producing partner, which is to step to the back and just do all of the accounting stuff while Gunn makes the magic happen.
My guess is he's the guy who probably pushed James into doing this.
So what happened to that Berlusconi guy or whatever?
Greg Berlanti.
See, I'm not so good.
That was never going to happen. Like we kept telling people, that was his people putting that shit out in the press, probably.
Yeah, he's kind of disappeared off the airwaves.
He just disappeared off of Green Lantern, as we just saw.
The CW being sold and all their shows kind of being ended or completed, that's more than two-thirds of his slate that he's produced. And right now he's his Green Lantern series just lost its showrunner.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, I think the first things, though, to go back to that original question, I think we'll probably hear Superman's going to get announced. We'll find out when that's coming out. I bet it's going to be either late 2024 or like summer 2025. Maybe they'll announce one or the other of James Gunn's secret projects, because we now know of two secret projects he's working on. One is a series spinoff from Suicide Squad, and the other is the secret project that he supposedly pitched during this whole super meeting, we'll call it.
Well, there's also going to be season 2 of Suicide Squad. Season 2 of...
Yep. Well, there's that, too. It
was announced after the first few numbers came in from Peacemaker. Like, we've known about it for a while.
I'm willing to bet we'll hear about Wonder Woman 3. They might give us a teaser in that. But other than that...
Do we know who's involved in Wonder Woman 3?
I bet we find out there's a new director.
Oh, there probably. that I think you're probably right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because
watch it be fucking Joss Whedon. I'm kidding.
That would be hilarious, though.